But it's like, I mean, in the beginning of the pandemic, I feel like I was too panicked to sleep.
Right.
And now I don't feel that way. So it's like, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm still a gross bitch.
Oh, always and forever.
Should we get started?
Yeah. 1 second. Let me just judge myself. I'm not even going to edit this out. This is so obnoxious, too. Sorry, people. Go on, Okay. This is Scream Queen, a podcast about scary movies.
From people not typically depicted in scary movies. Hi, Drea. Good to see you again.
Babe. Yes, it is always such a pleasure to see you, my love.
I know. Look at me.
Oh, bitch, get out of here.
Couldn't even get 5 seconds into
it. Before I forget, we wanted to give a shout out to Just Joho and Mashable for the top 10 horror podcast shout out. We really appreciate it and love any attention. Like if you're liking what we're doing, you know, we have so much more to bring and more to come, I should say.
Yeah, you put the emphasis on that come a little hard, I gotta say.
You're the only one who picked up on that, you horny bitch.
Listen, it's hard out here for the single people in quarantine. Because like I was just a regular slut. And now I'm like sliding down banisters and shit.
Don't get any splinters, baby.
I know. What are you what are you watching? What are you reading? What are you listening to? What's going on? What's happening in Dreville?
So this week, I'm watching I'll Be Gone in the Dark. I've been catching up on that. Well, I caught up on it finally. I wasn't sure like if it was going to be too heavy. That's about the Michelle McNamara Golden State Killer case that she broke the case, but also killed herself in the process because she exhausted herself and worked herself to death. But yeah, that's dark enough. And then just to get into the stories, and they have like firsthand accounts from the people that got attacked.
Ooh. You know, I can't do you know I don't do true crime? I can't do true crime, but I started watching it because it's really good. And it was like about how imminently solvable the case was, but that like rich people didn't
against people and
that like rich people didn't want their property value to go down.
Yep.
So they were incentivized the police were incentivized not to report it.
Yeah. So they just allowed a killer just to go around and do this for a long ass time. And
all because of Reagan. All because of Reagan too, because he was about to run for president and they didn't want this to taint his presidential bid. And I'm like, man, Republicans have been on some bullshit.
Oh yeah, for a hot minute.
And rich people, you know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, they've been doing just the most bullshit. What I also got from it, just the way, and these things again have not changed. Just the way the cops didn't treat the women, you know, with respect, like they were people. You know, they were left to sit in those, like literally right after they were raped, they were made to sit there and just like take their fingerprints and take pictures half dressed. And if they tried to move or use the bathroom, they'd get yelled at and because they're messing up evidence. And it's just like, so you had no business dealing with these people whatsoever, you know, and that's why we're where we are today and why we need people that are licensed and professional in dealing with trauma like that to come into situations like that. You know, those guys aren't equipped to do anything like that. And so they completely blundered that whole situation. And it is so sad how preventable it was, you know, like you said.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is the killer had an MO. The killer, like they knew so much about his pattern. They could have easily intervened at some point. It was just really frustrating. But like, I think, you know, I was also watching it and it's like how I'm really encouraged by the filmmakers because of how they're dealing with it, how the filmmakers are dealing with the information. They're dealing with Michelle, with Patton, and the victims and the victims' families. Like there was that one lady who was like, I could never play piano again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it took that away from her. I mean, there's people who just won't be able to function like completely for the rest of their lives. They're just forever damaged by that. It's damaging just to hear it. It's just like, oh my God. And then, you know, just, but yeah, and again, he also got away with it because he was white and because he was a cop. And people just, they didn't want to believe that, of course, a cop couldn't do this, a white man couldn't do this, you know? So he probably just walked by people, they'd like right after killing somebody, and people just didn't pay attention to him because they didn't expect that to be the criminal, you know, just ridiculous.
Would you recommend the series?
Oh yeah, if you can handle it. But you know, if you don't want to take on something kind of heavy, I don't suggest it. But if you can, then it's well done. And I do highly recommend it. But
and I assume if you're watching and listening to us, you like scary shit. So
yeah, but it's a little heavier. This is real stuff. It's not our fun make-believe blood. It's real people's lives getting damaged. But like you said, it's handled in a really careful way. So I do recommend it. What have you been watching?
Okay, so I watched Demolition Man.
I tried to watch that like a few weeks ago and I could not. It was just so stupid.
It's very stupid, but it's oddly relevant to our time because they're living in a socially distanced society because of disease. Yeah. Like they never touch each other. They never shake hands. They don't have sex. They have sex through machines. And it's like, it's hit a little too close to home. That's not escapism anymore.
Yeah, right at the beginning of the pandemic, there was a few articles about it, about how relatable it is, but also like just how ridiculous of a fucking film it is too. As it goes, yeah. I mean, Wesley Snipes and oh Jesus, just everybody's just saying, they got him saying the most ignorant shit in that movie. You know, it's just I was looking forward to getting back into it. I remember liking it as a kid, but yeah, the action's not enough to keep me going. But
what's that dude? What's Rocky's dude? What's his name again? Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Do you remember when it first came out? You might be too young. You might have been too young to remember. You're a little bit younger than me. I'm
a lot younger than you, actually. Yeah.
But I remember when it first came out in theaters, there was a controversy because it showed Sylvester Stallone's dick.
In what?
Demolition Man. You know, in the very beginning when he's getting thawed out.
Oh yeah. I think they went back and they covered it up or something. No, because I remember going to the theater to go see the movie. I was like 5 or 6. I was 5 or 6, something like that. But no, I was older than that. I was like 7 or 8, something like that. It wasn't. I don't remember like it being a huge controversy, but I do recall that there was some speak about it. So it must have been a big deal back then.
But if you Google, for all my whores out there, you can see it. You can see the unaltered footage. And
Lord.
He seems to be packing.
Even he's being deep-thawed and he's packing? Wow.
Yep. Well, speaking of things that are hitting a little too close to home, would you like to tell the viewers what we're going to be talking about today? Because it's disgusting.
Oh, okay. That's rude. Don't just like present it like that. Jesus. So first up, we're going to be covering The Beach House, a new addition to Shudder. And that's directed by Jeffrey A. Brown. And then our Scream Queen of the Week is Miss Sennia Nenua, and The Girl with All the Gifts. And that's directed by Cole McCarthy. So let's get started.
Take it away.
All right. So this movie, The Beach House, just came out a couple weeks ago. And it stars Liana Liberato, Noah LaGrosse, Jake Weber, Marianne Nagel, and that's it. So the premise is, escaping to his family's beach house to reconnect, Emily and Randall find their off-season trip interrupted by an older couple acquainted with Randall's estranged father. Unexpected bonds form as the couples let loose and enjoy the isolation, but it all takes an ominous turn as increasingly strange environmental phenomena begin to wrap their peaceful evening. As the effects of an infection become evident, Emily struggles to make sense of the contagion before it's too late. So, yeah, I saw a trailer for this, and I mean, I was just, some beach shit. I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that beach horror shit. There's some kind of like dumpling-looking aliens. They look like wontons.
That, I will say, I immediately ordered wontons after watching this movie.
Oh my God, you're ridiculous. Freaking, did you hear when I just got a text message right now?
Yes, I did.
Okay, whatever. Anyway.
Some of us just put their phones on silent before recording. Just,
excuse me, but it came through my computer, so I'm gonna need you to kiss my butt.
That actually doesn't happen on computers, so.
Oh, if you have a computer like I do, then you might, because my computer connects to my phone. I don't know if yours does that, but mine does. So,
no, I don't have horror devices that interact with each other.
Horror devices, you should.
I'm very mad at you for making me watch this film, I have to say.
I told you to watch half the trailer. I just want to be clear. Okay, I need my cousin to stop texting me right now. Messages. I wanted you to watch half the trailer because the trailer shows the whole fucking movie. That is why I was like, and I wish I hadn't seen, what happens, because they literally show you the whole fucking movie in the trailer. So I was just like, I don't want to do this. And as soon as I saw her step her foot in the pod thing, I was like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
It doesn't mean you're not wrong for this, Drea. You're wrong for this, for making me watch this shit. See, I was
avoiding wontons.
I was avoiding Sea Fever or whatever that shit was. I was avoiding watching Contagion. I was like, I don't want to watch no fucking disease shit. And then Drea was like, oh, it's the beach house. Only watch half the trailer. And so I did. I watched this whole, and I was just like, okay, there's that pandemic anxiety again. It was waiting right for me the whole time. I gotta say, this was disgusting, period.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like that. Honestly, it didn't like gross me out as much as I thought. It wasn't like The Fly, like gross. It was getting there, but it didn't give me that visceral like feel. Like I didn't like cringe per se. Like when she pulls that shit out of her foot, it didn't bother me.
You're disturbed though. I understand why it wouldn't bother you.
And again, you ordered wontons after you saw this damn movie. So
I mean, just because I'm grossed out don't mean a bitch can't be hungry. Shit.
Hey, I did not have an appetite for that. And actually, I waited a week to order some. Thank you very much.
So like these two couples are basically like, kind of, they're both on the way out as couples. Mm-hmm. Like, cause fucking what's his name? Randall ain't shit.
Randall tells her to drop out of grad school or whatever. Let's just be on vacation forever.
Because he's like a white dude with no ambition and like nothing has ever been hard for him. And so like you can tell that like she's getting a little fed up with his shit. Emily is. And then with Mitch and Jane, I think, she's like about to kick it, right? Mm-hmm. She's about to kick the bucket.
You see that, well, yeah, I first took it as though she was just extremely depressed, but yeah, she was gonna die because all those meds were hers. So that's what was going on there for sure.
Unless she was just doing them for fun, but I don't know her life like that.
But then when Homegirl was like, when he offered them edibles, and she's like, I don't know if she should have any. I'm like, bitch, like, why not? If you assume that she's on or having some issues, like let her have her moment. Like
honestly, like how many motherfucking opioids is she on right now? You know what I mean? Like I think she can handle an edible. And so when they do, so they're trying to connect over dinner and they're popping some bottles, like doing these edibles, and that's when they start to notice that some shit is like covering the whole beach, like some like blue fuzzy shit. And it's like bioluminescent. So it's like something that came up from the ocean.
Very reminiscent of, it's like The Mist meets Color Out of Space.
And a little bit of Annihilation in there.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, they think that it's the drugs that are affecting them. But first of all, Jane, her dumbass, she wants to explore it. So of course the bitch has to go touch it. Like, who told you to do that? You could just
see, white ladies can't leave anything alone.
No, they can't.
She had to go up and touch that shit.
Yes, she did.
Get burned by the fire, bitch. Like, guess what? Old ass Karen.
Oh shit. But yeah, they all pass out and then they all wake up on the beach. Or kind of just like they wake up in random places. But Homegirl, what's her name? Emily.
Emily?
Yeah, she wakes up on the beach trying to like kind of figure out what the fuck's going on. And was her boyfriend in the house or was he on the beach with her? I'm trying to remember.
He was just like he was basically like face down in the living room. Like he could not hold his edibles and liquor. Like that dude was just like fucking sleep.
And then he's the first to get attacked by the wife, right? Yeah. He goes in because he's not feeling, and then the husband makes his weird fucking speech and then walks into the ocean and disappears. And then she goes back in the house and her man had just gotten attacked by a homegirl because she's gotten infected. And now she's got to lag his ass around for the rest of the movie. But before that happens, she steps in a pod. It's a gyoza. It looks like fucking gyoza.
Yeah, I think it was the pork mince.
Bit of a green onion. Yeah, I could see that. And yeah, so she steps in some weird ooze, gets in her foot, and something immediately it's like there's like a baby in her foot, and then she's like hobbling all the whole time.
I will say it was a prime bit of comedy watching her hobble around.
I know,
fall all over the place. And I was like, this is suddenly like I Love Lucy for some reason.
But it's also relatable because you were the hobbling queen for a little bit there.
Listen, I can't have 2 sex injuries and not be known as the bitch who hobbles. Okay.
Hey, the fact that I have not 1 but 2 sex injuries, bitch.
See, if this was the res, y'all would be calling me some ignorant shit like limpy. Because a bitch limp.
You were already hating on yourself and so down on yourself. I could not give you no damn nickname. I mean, you don't know what I called you behind your back, but I would never say it to your face
Okay, I'm gonna have to go through what are the group chats that I'm not on. I'm gonna have to interrogate all of our friends. Be like, what my ignorant ass name was Dre call me when I had my second.
Can't be more than limpy. But anyway.
Did you? So the idea, so this was a little on the nose. I thought I liked the movie as a whole, even though it was gross. I love what filmmakers on a budget have to do, and that they have to be like very inventive. And so I found the suspense element of it, and like, and keeping the camera close in on the actors meant that they had a lot to do emotionally and work-wise that I thought was like effective. But in terms of story, so Emily is like getting her master's or some graduate degree
in bio, what is it?
She's studying extremophiles, like animals that exist in like very extreme environments. So like in thermal vents in like the trenches of the ocean. And so that's what we open up with. Like our opening shots are like of these trenches. And like I love that shit. I used to like read about that shit all the time because there's so many, because for the longest time, we just assumed that people got energy from the sun, you know? But like there was and that we metabolize like food, and that was the way that life is life. But finding extremophiles in the trenches meant that some species could convert sulfur into the light that they needed. And so but having her study these creatures, and that is what they're telling us basically in the film, is that those creatures have like floated to the surface and are like about to, destroy the whole world. So I felt like that her obsession and like the way that the movie turned out, like I felt that to be a little bit on the nose.
Oh yeah, there was a few. I mean, it's solid, and I got the premise, I got the story, and I felt it was effective. But I've seen it before in a lot of ways. The thing that kept it original was there was a few elements. It was mostly like the way things were shot kept it really, because it wasn't like a fast-paced movie per se. It had like a slow vibe to it that I actually appreciated. It didn't take me out of it. It was meant to like be like a thought piece, like there's supposed to be a deeper message here. What's the moral to the story? And she has to learn how to just kind of take accept her reality in a sense.
I thought that was probably like I wasn't expecting. Like we've seen movies like this before, and you expect like they get to the safe place or they just die, and having her at the end just kind of accept her new reality and not try to fight it anymore, and to be like, I'm changing, like I'm evolving, I'm being something different. And she was just like, calm, or what did you say, calm down, or
something like calm down, or just just because he says the words to her at the very beginning, You know, he's like trying to tell her to get out of grad school, and then he goes, you know, you just need to learn how to chill out or whatever. But she repeats those words at the end, and I thought that in itself that ending was, you know, a little unexpected, and I was like, I dug that. I don't think it went far enough, but I did like how they wrapped it up.
And so there's this idea that this contagion or this pathogen has at least overtaken the world of the film that we've seen. So like this little beach town. But first of all, when they showed up, nobody in those beach houses.
Nobody around.
I was like, the fuck are you trying to, don't you know? If this was us, it would have been like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna turn around. I don't need to be in this scary old isolated beach shit. But then we get the sort of George Romero-esque radios broadcasts that are talking about how this thing is like spreading. So this is engulfing the whole world. This is like an extinction level event, basically.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that didn't like blow my mind or anything. But I liked the practical effects. I really liked the practical effects. And it was gross like the Blob 2 more than it was gross like I said, like Fly. And I don't know if you've seen the Blob 2, but I like the Blob 2. It's pretty like fucked up. It's just clever how they were able to make something. I don't know how they make that shit, but I'm always impressed by it. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I mean, and like imagine that's like somebody's job to like build this shit, to make this shit look real without using CGI and shit like that. I appreciated the world. I appreciated the filmmakers' decisions. I appreciated the practical effects. And I thought too, it nicely, I don't think it was too heavy-handed in its subtext, because I think it's about class. I think it's about like the fear that rich people have that like the rest of like that they're going to get encroached upon, you know, like this fear that white people in America have that like America is getting browner, you know, and that feeling of like maybe getting taken over by something. And in this case, like it's a literal pathogen, but in our world, the pathogen is racism, right? And I think it's about class because this is a beach house, right? And so that immediately says something about the class of the people in the film, because you know, you have to be of a certain class to be able to have a beach house. You know, it's so bouge.
And when they get to that beach house, they go in there and they proceed to talk shit about the beach house and how it's not, you know, up to standard and how dirty it is. And it was looking kind of rough, but
it was a little rugged. You know, it was a little rugged, but you got a beach house. You know what I mean?
House. Right.
And as a place of like, and this is what I love about scary movies, when they can take some place that's like that is comfort, you know, that's like idyllic and comfortable, and just sort of like fuck that up. You know, it's like with the doll, you know, that's supposed to be a symbol of comfort for a child, but to turn that into a murderer, you know, like, so I think it did that effectively in this, and it just like, you know, I don't know if it's like necessarily a class like white people, but it is like, I enjoyed, and I didn't think it was too heavy-handed, that I feel like that's what the subtext was.
Okay, yeah, you know, as you say it, I could buy that. And yeah, that wasn't like overly stated. That thing that she's running away from, yeah, it didn't seem like an ominous ending. It seemed hopeful actually to me. Because she gave into it, yeah, she was ready. She's like, okay, let's just do this. Fuck it. All right. And yeah, here we go.
And also, I'm all for the natural world coming and wiping us out. You know what I mean? Like, we really had a run of it. We really fucked this place up. So by all means, come and get your revenge. I mean, it's kind of doing it right now.
I say get your revenge against those who deserve it. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. So, you know, get on SpaceX and get the fuck out of here. That's what Anything else you want to say about the film?
I will not be watching any other disease movies in the quarantine. So you can take Contagion and Sea Fever and whatever else you're going to try to thrust upon me out of this motherfucking equation, okay?
Okay.
I'm not doing it. I'm not.
I didn't even know I was going to. Listen, just get over it, all right? It was fun. You loved it, and I love you. So just,
man, this is assault.
Well, well, this is Loki, you said assault, and it made me think of SVU. But a Stabler's got a show coming out after Benson and Stabler got back-to-back It's Law and Order SVU Organized Crime, and that's Stabler's show now. It's gonna have
but one of the producers got kicked off the project.
Oh yeah,
because he posted like some Proud Boy shit. He was like about to get these protesters, and I was like,
people got kicked out because they were like Trump supporters. Yeah. But whatever, I want me some Chris Maloney back on TV.
You know, a little, yeah, I think he's probably 6'2".
You're probably right. I think you're probably right. I was just gonna
he gives me 6'2" vibes.
I was gonna question you, but I think you're right. We already know your hidden talent, but you were actually put on this earth. Yeah, you were actually put on this earth. You're supposed to work as a carny, guessing people's heights.
You know, I'm just gonna leave this Zoom. I'll talk to you later, you rude ass baby. Should we get into our Scream Queen?
Yes, please do.
All right, Act 2. Our Scream Queen of the week is none other than Sennia Nenua as Melanie in The Girl with All the Gifts. Directed by Colin McCarthy, starring Sennia, starring Glenn Close, in a role that hit kind of close to home for me, because at the time I was suffering from my laceration, my second sex injury of last year. And there's this part where she gets blood poisoning, and I convinced myself that I had blood poisoning, and it was very hard to masturbate that week. Anyway, and then Patty Considine, who Drea loves. So the thrust of this movie is that one of several children immune to a mutated fungal disease. Again, what is with you this week? That has actually I chose
this one. So fucking movie.
This is on me. This is on me. This is on me. This is on me. So one of several children immune to a mutated fungal disease that has eradicated free will and turned the rest of humanity into cannibalistic zombies. A gifted young girl escapes the safety of a special school and helps guide mankind's survival. Oh, and also, okay, so you know, as the horde is like breaking into the compound and like the children are escaping and all that kind of stuff, you know, the black female soldier is she's in The Expanse.
I don't think I saw that.
Well, it's on Amazon, 4 seasons. It's very good.
I've heard of it. Yeah. Okay. I'll put it on my list. There's too many damn shows, but okay.
So yeah, Melanie, she's like this zombie girl. The thing I love, the one we talked about doing her on a previous season, and what I really love about this character and this performance is that, once again, I think the ending was really unexpected for me. And the actress has to do so much here, because like the nature of the zombies is that like, if they smell humans, they just kind of lose control. But these second generation, these kids who were not directly infected, but who were born as like these zombie creatures, they actually have thought and free will. Like they're thinking zombies, right? But once they smell a human, instinctually, they just try to eat it. So the people have this gel that they put on, this kind of like sunscreen ass shit that they can put on so that the zombies can't smell them anymore. And so as long as they can't smell them, they're fine. And Mrs. Justino and all them could like teach these kids. But there's a moment when Mrs. Justino is putting Melanie back in her cell, and the gel is like wearing off. And very slowly over Sennia's face, you see that bloodlust kind of come to her, like and it's so subtle until it's not. And she's just really like, you have to get out of here because I'm gonna get bitey, bitch. I'm gonna bite your ass. So like, I thought she had a wonderful performance. That was
12 years old. 12 years old is her first role. Like the fact that she could convey that so effectively. I mean, the poster is what I always remember about this movie. Like I always saw the poster, and it took me a minute to watch it. But her eyes just draw you in, and that's what tells the story. And what I got from the film was, you know, they're studying her and the other child hungries and trying to figure them out, but she's really learning them. And by the end, you know, she figures them out. And, you know, my favorite kind of moment was just like, you know, Glenn Close, you know, thought she was saving the future, but, you know, Sennia's like, bitch, I am the future. Like, I'm here. Like, why are you trying to distinguish me? What the fuck?
Yeah, when she, at the end, because like there's this spore tower basically that like if under extreme heat these like spores burst open, and that's basically what caused the fungal infection. And there's this huge tower one, and she sets that shit on fire and like infects the whole world. Like that's a wrap for humanity after that. I feel like Mrs. Justineau was like the only human left, you know?
She was, I mean, Patty was worth shit too, but you know, he did all he could do, and he fought the good fight, and at least she gave him like a legit death. Like she didn't let him, you know, suffer. And Miss Justineau, she was supposed to be that she was doing exactly what she's supposed to do. You know, she's safe from getting harmed, but she can, you know, help them to stay in line until they don't need her help anymore. And then she served her purpose. That's the end.
Yeah, and then there's like a lot of once we get out of the compound and we're basically with the small group of survivors that are like trying to flee, what I thought was really inventive and was a good adaptation from the book, because it could have easily been bloated and boring, because in doing an adaptation of a book, you have to really take one slice of it. You can't adapt the whole thing.
So we didn't
unless you're going to do it.
How did they get there? It was just we start at the compound instead of the story, how they got to the compound and all this. It was very effective. Yeah.
Yeah, and when we start to learn at the nature of these children, that they've actually crawled out of their mother's wombs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they busted out. Yeah, and they ate their mothers or whatever.
Yeah.
Crawled out and ate their mothers. Yeah.
And so that we learn that there are another group of children, feral children, who like never got taken to the compound and never were put in school. And so now we have like, and they're, you know, they want to come kill these humans or whatever. And Melanie was like, I'm gonna take out your number one, like this is prison. And then she becomes like the kind of leader of the feral children.
Yep. And and she proved her wherewithal and just her place in that world. And when she defended everybody, when she beat the shit out of that kid with the bat, and that was, I'm like, okay.
You know, I didn't know little mama had it in her, but she definitely, you know, brained that bitch. And I think it's always like
I heard what you said. You like muttered, "Is she done brain that bitch?" I guess that bitch got brained. That was, yep. It was, woo. Like you rolled up on the wrong person.
But also, like I feel like if this was a traditional story, especially a zombie story, you know, we've got a race for the cure. Glenn Close would be the hero of the movie. You know, if this was a traditional, you know, and because like she's doing what's best for humanity, but like she straight up wants to fucking dissect little Melanie.
Yeah.
To try to figure out.
The whole fucking time she's like, well, maybe I don't have to. It's like, bitch, like, what the fuck asked you? Like, it's just the fact that she's struggling with the good, if she's a good person or not, or the decency in her, if she can save this child. It's just, who the fuck told you? Like, you're the end all be all, you know? Like she let it go to her head, you know, that because she has some book knowledge and, you know, a little foresight on something, but she's not open to other people's input and listening to, you know, it's still a person in front of you, regardless if that person's different than you, you know, and it's a child. Yeah. You're just scared of that child, you know?
I mean, and a black child, like,
and a black
this
child.
Is another old ass Karen, just like getting her, you know.
Well, that's, of course, that rang true to me throughout this film. You know, they're putting a black child and, you know, trying to put her in her place this whole time. She's being kept in a cage, and, you know, but she, you know, it's just, it doesn't break her spirit, you know, and she remains, you know, just completely, she's just honest, and her eyes, even when she's enraged, her eyes, it's all like passion, and the way she talks to people, and, you know, she really likes is it Justina? I can't remember. Yeah, you know, like she loves that woman, you know, and she grows to learn to give people time, even though those same people were at one point wanted to kill her, some of them come around and they get to understand just how much she has to teach them. So
Yep.
you know, it really did strike a chord with me, that the racial issue in it.
So, Sennia Nenua, you're a Scream Queen this week. Love you, baby. Can't wait to see you again.
Yes, where you at? We need you. One more time. Catch us next week, same time, same place. We'll be talking about a Brazilian lesbian interracial werewolf film called Good Manners. Came out just a few years ago. And our Scream Queen of the Week is Miss Carmen Agojo from The Purge Anarchy.
Yes, let's do this shit. Scream Queen is produced by Alexandra De Palma and Domino Sound.
With theme music by Doc Allison.
I am Tommy Teaves Pico, and you can't find me on social media anymore because I deleted that shit for a little while.
He'll be back. I am Drea I Stay Ready Washington. You can find me on the gram at Hey Girl Hey. That's HeyGirlHey. And you can find us on Instagram at Scream Queen Podcast.
And online at screeemqueenpodcast.com.
Send us some love notes at Scream Queen Gmail. So that's SCREEEM Queen at gmail.com. Scream Queen at gmail.com.
And in the scary movie of your life,
you better scream
Queen. Queen.
Also, please stay safe, everyone. We hope everybody is, mentally keeping it together. And if you're not, please find somebody to reach out to. We hope we're a good outlet for you all. And, let's just keep praying for one another and, just stay strong.
And wear a goddamn mask.
Wear a motherfucking mask.
Jesus, come on now.
You don't have to tell our audience that. I hope we don't.
No, our audience know. Our audience know.
They know. They smart.